Welcome back, everyone. We are here post Ryder Cup. Made a lot of wrong picks in the last one, but it was certainly turned out to still be one hell of an event after a rough start. So we are cheers to the boys over in Ireland. We got a fresh Guinness cracked open. I know Owen will love this, but
I've already applied for my dual citizenship to New Zealand. So
there you go.
Obviously we
over it.
We talk about a lot. I'm not a big Rory guy, but to battle like he did was pretty great. And I think having Lowry win it too was like there's no better person to make that winning putt, at least the clinching putt for the cup.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck him. That was actually it was so sick to watch Rory just tell a guy to shut the fuck up and then stick it to 3.5 feet.
That was nuts.
It was baller.
It was so constant too. And we only hear the half of it probably from watching TV, right? Like I was reading a couple articles from people that were on the grounds and actually wrote about what was actually said to Rory and then Shane as well as they were going throughout the week. And it was, some pretty not great stuff. Obviously that's the few, that's not the whole, but yeah, like you said, TJ, for Rory to keep battling on it, that's a lot.
Yeah. Him and I mean, even like when they were grouped together, him and Lowry that on Saturday too, for like Lowry to stay focused and do that, and I mean they said it well after too. It's like, like chirp them here and there, but like you're there to cheer on your team, not
right.
Dog the like. You don't go to a baseball game or a basketball game and you're doing that. Like you're gonna boo people, but you're not. You're not taking it to that level.
You're not talking about people's wives and kids, and unless you're a Phillies fan, of course. But other than that, I mean, it's just like they were saying. Was it Tom Watson that wrote a tweet and was wanted to apologize to the the European team about just how bad the fans were that whole time. Pretty classless, honestly. Yeah. And I know that for a fact when they're in Ireland for the next Ryder Cup, it's going to be it'll be. I can't wait for the chance already. Yeah, I know they're going to be creative. They're going to be right on their ass. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Not only that, but even when it comes back here and it's up in Minnesota, like Minnesota people are so different than people there on Long Island. Too.
They're basically
it's going to be a whole different vibe. Yeah.
I wonder to what extent the price of the tickets affected things too. Of obviously TJ just had a kid, so you weren't gonna go. But I don't know if Gary, you looked at the ticket price like I did. I when I saw it $700, I was like, yeah, absolutely not. I really wanted to go. I was excited to go. I played at Backpage a couple of times. I was really looking forward to it. And I saw that and I was like, yeah, not a question. No question, I'm not even going. So you wonder if it priced out some of the well-meaning, good golf fans to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And then it maybe brought in certain people that were just kind of looking to go to a show versus, I don't know, going to a golf event, We'll never know.
Yeah, I think that's true. And you don't really have your average attendees of a PGA Tour event there either. Mm-hmm. And same thing, it's not the average attendees of a live event, even you know what I mean? Live events aren't like that. But you have these other people. I think you had a lot in the audience that were people that don't necessarily follow pro golf, but more so a lot of the people that just kind of watch YouTube golf and were like, oh, this is an event that happens every 4 years here. We got to go.
Right.
And almost didn't know how to act type of thing,
Exactly. Yeah.
Friday, Saturday rounds. Yeah.
Let's fucking go. Fucking Europe. Beat US. in Long Island, in Bethpage. No one thought they'd be able to do it. Watching the Sunday, thought they're about to choke it away. But they absolutely flipping dominated them the first 2 daes. And
I can't wait for you to cut a reel. That's just. I can't wait for you to cut a reel. It's just Owen saying "fuck the U.S." and Ice just shows up at his door.
No, please don't do that. No,
it was obviously I don't think the U.S. played. I don't think they played great on Friday. I think they actually played okay on Saturday. Mm-hmm. But Europe just played so well both Friday and Saturday. That it wouldn't have mattered.
Friday was, dude, 4-ball to start was just not the way to do it. Just not the play.
We started foursomes and then 4-ball, and we fucking blow. I mean, those foursome teams,
they were they were so bad.
Bryson's great, but Bryson is not a foursomes play. Like, he plays his own ball fine, but that's not everyone's play style. And same with Scotty. Scotty's so good about getting out of trouble, but it just didn't set up Russell Henley or JT for like much success.
Right.
And then the only point the U.S. got today was Xander and Cantlay, which, like, those guys are always, they've been solid every time.
They played really well. I mean, right from the get-go, Bryson was fucking dialed. That first hole, you're like, all right, this is fucking sick. Watching JT play those, like, I don't know, maybe first 5-6 holes, just knew that nothing was going to come out of it. Just nothing good. He couldn't buy a fucking shot. And it's just frustrating because it's like you could tell that he was just getting in his own way, and Bryson was doing his best to be like, no, you got this. Like, vibes are trying to keep the vibes up. But it also didn't matter because Europe was just foot to the throat the whole day. I think at one point, they were all up like a minimum of 2, I think it was at one point. And I was just like, Jesus.
It was rough.
Yeah, I think historically, like at home Ryder Cups, foursomes in the morning, the home team typically does pretty well. But I think historically, maybe Europe's a little better in that regard. But yeah, it was a weird year for it, I guess, in that you're going up against, in terms of the U.S. guys, they had 4 rookies this year. Europe had 1 rookie.
Yeah.
And it was his brother was the guy that was there last year, and he was there, a part of the team, but not playing last year in Rasmus Højgaard. So it's a weird format. It's something that they don't play at all on the tour. They maybe try to replicate it in non-competitive situations, but it's a mindset as well as, I guess, matchups, and just Europe maybe being more comfortable with it, just having that little bit of edge, like maybe that just is why they were so dominant at it,
I mean, even with the 4-ball too, like, I don't know, they almost got in their heads a little bit, I think, and it was like they knew they were fighting back. Much better showing in the afternoon from the U.S., but like those, there were so many European players that were just hot, putting great on those greens. And even Keegan said after everything, like he said the greens played way softer. He thought they were going to firm up more, and they just never did. Yeah. And way more receiving than they were expecting to, as he was trying to set it up for their success. But
yeah, do you want to talk about the course?
I think.
Sorry, go ahead, TJ. My bad.
Well, no, I was just going to say, I think, like, obviously we always play golf up here in similar climate and similar style and all that. And I almost wonder if some of it is like, so many of these U.S. guys grew up more down south, right? Cam Young played great, and he's from up here in New York. But then a lot of these guys from England and Ireland, they grew up playing similar climates and similar courses. Like, it's not a link style course, but like it's more similar. I think like when it gets down to that under pressure, it's like you kind of fall back to that like muscle memory almost. And I think they were just more comfortable on that course. And I think it could be the same way when they go to Minnesota too, just being that northern course, it was hot at Bethpage, but like might not be that hot at Minnesota, and it plays so differently.
Right. I know in years past, they've always talked about when you go to Europe Ryder Cup, when you're playing in Europe, they kind of heighten the rough and narrow the fairways a little bit, just to make it tougher for maybe the historically long hitters for U.S. in years past. And then look at it this year where, like, I played at Bethpage 3 times, and I went there for the 2019 PGA Championship. The rough was like nowhere near what it normally is, which I didn't really get going into it, just because I feel like years past, your Ryder Cup would be so much more the PGA Tour versus the European Tour, now the DP World Tour. and they'd be kind of in Europe. You're playing different courses, right? And then over here you're playing different courses. But now it's just like pretty much everybody from the European team plays on the PGA Tour all the time and plays American courses and more used to them, what have you. And also, obviously, you have a bunch of long hitters on Europe as well. So I didn't really wholly understand that. Like, I think it kind of, I mean, I don't know if growing up the rough and keeping the fairways, some of the fairways that they had widened, keeping them where they were before, I don't know how much of a difference that would have made. But yeah, I definitely think it kind of backfired in a way.
Yeah, and I don't know if some of that was like to almost set up like Bryson and Scotty that can kind of hit a little offline at times. Like they're good playing out of the rough. I don't know if it was trying to help them, but then, you know, I mean, they obviously struggled a lot all week. And that's a lot of workload. Like they played 5 times, both those guys. Like that's, it's a lot of golf. But yeah, I mean, then Saturday, obviously, again, 3-1 for Europe, and it's just same type of thing. Struggled, didn't have a chance in the foursomes again. I mean, same thing. Like Bryson and Scotty, I don't think can be playing in foursomes. I don't think Scotty's ever won in foursomes now, right? I think he's lost every single time he's been there. He
Scotty's
won 4-ball, and then he's won singles, but it's just not his format.
No,
it was. Go ahead, Gary.
No, go ahead, Owen. You're good.
So I wrote down a couple notes from Friday at least, and because it felt like Matt Fitzpatrick played like extremely well. And so, if I remember correctly, it's Matt Fitzpatrick and Ludwig Åberg versus Russell Henley and Scotty. And Ludwig was teeing off on the odd holes as well as Russell. So it's like Fitzpatrick and Scheffler are matched up. And there's just a bunch of instances I have jotted down here of like the first hole, Matt Fitzpatrick was hitting from 76 yards and he put the ball to 4 feet 9 inches. That was after Scotty was hitting from 149 yards away, and Scotty had hit it to 38 feet. And then there's another one. That is a little different here, but hole 3 is par 3. Matt Fitzpatrick is out of the left rough, and Scotty and Russell were on the green. They had like a 20-footer, and Matt Fitzpatrick hit it to 23 inches, his chip, and put the pressure on Scotty. So it's like there's a lot of that of like it's a team, right? It's not sure you have the number 1 player in the world on your team, but like I think Russell Henley's actually might be up there as well. But anyways,
he is.
It's just they kind of seem to complement each other a little more in terms of Ludwig and Matt Fitzpatrick and similar length, similar distance, used to hitting similar shots into holes and what have you. So that definitely stuck out to me on the Friday at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think Henley's someone that just doesn't really miss hit. His misses are not that far offline, and we've seen Scotty, he'll flare these things way out, but then he'll find a way to save par. And when you're playing alt shot like that, it's, Henley's not used to playing from some of the spots that he was in. Like it was just brutal. And then same thing then, because they were grouped again on Saturday too, Henley and Scheffler again. I think they switched the teeing order, but it just didn't even stand a chance. And then obviously we get to Sunday. So the big story is with Hovland and the injury and the half point with the envelope rule, which obviously will. So the U.S. did benefit from the rule. I believe it was like 30, 40 years ago when it was like made. And then obviously like Europe did. Now they didn't really need it, but I'm sure that will be long gone before the next Ryder Cup. But obviously it would have been the biggest comeback of all time. And I think there was a time where I shut it off. I started watching it when it started, but then it got to the point where it was Red Zone was on, the Ryder Cup, and I knew, we got a long shot. The Eagles are playing. The Phillies had the last game, and I turned it off for a bit. And then I think it was after the Eagles had won, I turned it back on, and it was like, at that time there was like a lot of even matches, and it was like, there's a chance if we get hot. And they started, I mean, that had to have been the best Sunday in the Ryder Cup in a long time.
I think it was. I think it
to
might
try
have been,
to be battling that out.
Yeah, I think it might have been the most points scored on a Sunday all time. What was it? They scored 9.5 points. Europe only won one match, and that was London over.
3, 4.
Yeah, just to think of like
8.5.
8.5. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's insane.
Yeah, just to think of how dominant Europe was the first 4 sessions, and then for USA to put on an absolute show and come back on Sunday and gain all those points and have a fair shot of it at the end. That's pretty impressive. Like I'm a nice guy. I like to think, so I kind of felt bad for the US team in a little bit, and like Keegan as well, because like I don't think he made any like terrible decisions, I guess.
No.
But for them to be getting trounced by that much, and at home and at Bethpage, that's pretty embarrassing. So for them to come back,
but it's just like Keegan was in a spot of like how do I put this? Like a baseball manager. A baseball manager is going to live and die by how the players that he puts out there, right? Mm-hmm. Like that team could fucking be amazing and that coach could not be great, but he's still gonna be stuck around. If it ain't fixed, don't broke it. Or if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So like you're saying with Keegan, I don't think he made any bad calls necessarily. I think you could argue like the way that it was set up, like he could have switched around, like we talked about earlier with the foursomes and 4-ball. But I think that the way that the matchups that they set for Sunday, I think that it was a good call, because I think that even though they were down, Keegan had a feeling that they were like, they could come back from regardless of what the deficit was on Sunday from solo play. But to say that, to your point though, to say like Keegan, like it's not his fault that the number 1 golfer in the world shit the bed. The JT went out there and did absolutely nothing. That, all the other matchups, like
Europe was
no
just
life.
hot too. Like it was.
You can't desecrate. Sorry, you can't say Keegan did anything wrong when it's not. He has no control over it. Like once it's in between the ropes, hats off to Europe. They absolutely dominated all weekend. So I don't really think it mattered who was on that Ryder Cup team for the U.S. We weren't stopping them.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like he has some questionable matchups, but we're not talking a lot. We're talking like maybe like 3. You know what I mean? Over those, what is it? 16 matches to start between, like 3 bad. So it's like, okay, give them 1.5 out of that. Like it's not, it wasn't that bad.
Like I think the one that stood out was sending out Morikawa and Harris English on the second day when they had lost by a good margin.
That I will agree with you.
Yeah. But like going back to kind of what you're saying, Gary, of like, he can't control some of the things of like I jotted down on Saturday 4-ball. Shane and Rory McIlroy as a team birdied the last 5 holes. Justin Rose made 8 birdies alone on the Saturday, and Terrell Hatton birdied his last 4 holes on Saturday as well. So like it's just at a certain point, it's like, what can you do? Like in those instances, what can you do? And like John Rahm, when he chipped in on 8. I can't remember what session it was, but that was like from when he was standing in the bunker, the ball was above his feet. And hitting towards the down.
That was the afternoon session, right?
Against Schauffele and Cantlay, which was insane to beat those two.
Yeah, so it's
Rahm and Hatton, I think, like it's hard to say because Fleetwood and Rose were so solid together too. But I think people knew Fleetwood and Rose were going to be solid. I don't think Rahm and Hatton, I think, kind of impressed people, and I think some of that really is built off of, like their live chemistry. Mm-hmm. Like they just they dominated together, and I wasn't expecting that. Like some of these other guys were. You
see them play; they're both kind of fiery guys, right? Like you'll see Terrell Hatton jawing at his putter when the ball doesn't break where it goes, or jawing at his club. I saw him like take, I can't remember what tournament it was, but he putted, maybe missed the putt, knocked in the next one, took the ball out of the cup, walked over to the pond, and absolutely spiked the ball into the pond because he was that PO.
Pretty sick.
So like the two,
there were some good moments from like that throughout the weekend that I really enjoyed. What was the other one? When Ben Griffin hit that like 51-foot putt or 52-foot putt.
Yeah.
And then Jay Rose just steps up and he goes, "Hold on, young fella. Let me just knock this like 45-footer and both were straight in the heart. Yeah. Just dead in the heart. And just sucked the air out of that place."
Yeah, it was hole 7. Ben Griffin made it from 56 feet, 3 inches, and then Justin Rose stepped up and made a 41-footer right after it. Like,
just fucking...
Yeah. Like you said, Gary, there's definitely a bunch of moments like that. Like, where it's either U.S. did something and then Europe responded. Or that's the part about the Ryder Cup that you love, of having those moments, of seeing those guys fired up, seeing these crazy long putts go in.
Yeah.
That's
I forget which hole it was when Bryson hit the big birdie there, and he was mean mugging, just walked like a fucking animal killer, right to the hole, picked up the ball, and he's like, "What fucking go?" I'm like, dude, that. Yeah, I also like. I know that a lot of people don't like Bryson. I have become such a Bryson fan, and watching him, I think it was really good for golf in general to see a guy, right, like Bryson, who left to go to live, come back and put on a fucking show for the U.S. and basically was, their MVP of this weekend. It was really cool to watch him just, I don't know, people were like really behind him after like hating on him for so long earlier in his career. So, watching him bring that kind of energy was fucking cool.
Yeah, I think him to battle back after being down 5 through 7
that was
on Sunday
insane.
That was a lot. And Fitzpatrick's a good match play golfer too. Like that was really impressive to do that, to just to get to the tie. I mean, he had that chance there, but
that was the second match, right? Of the
that was the third, and that was after Cam and JT. I mean, Cam Young was so he had the most for US. Him and Scheffler both scored 3. Mm-hmm. I mean, Cam Young was money all week. But those guys to win it on 18, I didn't look this up. I meant to look it up. That had to have been the most matches that have gone to 18 ever.
I wrote this down too.
Right?
Had to. I think it was all but like 2 of them, right?
9 of the 12 matches ended on 8. So 9 of the 11 matches ended on 18 because obviously Hovland and Harris English didn't play. So I believe that's the most ever.
Yeah. It's insane.
Crazy, yeah. Yeah, and I even think there were some of those, like, after Lowry had made his, like, obviously there's rumblings around the course, but, like, there was a couple putts I saw that, like, Morikawa and Burns, Rob McIntyre missed, I think he 3-putted from 5 foot on was it 16?
Yeah.
Yeah, 16. He took a 6. And then Sam Burns, like, he gave him another one on 17, and it's like, man, I would have had him putt it. He was struggling. Like, Sam Burns could have won that match. I think same with Morikawa. They both halved, but they were given some, because they knew they couldn't get the cup back, but I really think they could have battled and actually easily bent 14 and a half.
Yeah, it's part of the etiquette, though, like, of do you really want to put someone else in, like, if you were in their shoes and you send someone to make a short 2-footer, 3-footer, and have them hit it and miss it, and then that's an embarrassing moment on a big stage. Like, of that etiquette, of like, is that the proper thing to do? Like, putting.
But isn't that part of the game? But isn't that part of the game? Like, that's you're signing up for the Ryder Cup because you're supposed to be the best in the world. Right, so that should be a lock no matter what. Like, I understand the part of the etiquette, like you're saying, and more times than not, you're going to see that. But if you're the best in the world and somebody's going to tell you that that's not good, you should be able to step up over. I mean, they make 10, 15, 20 footers like we make, a footer. But even, I don't know. I don't think I see some of those putts and I'm like, why are you giving them that? Like, even the average golfer is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I get it, but at the same time, I mean, who's to say that, you know, Rory steps up and doesn't lip one and absolutely, you know, leaves one short? That could be, you know, 2-3 strokes of a swing there. That could be a whole swing. I don't understand it. I get the etiquette part. I understand that. But if you're the best in the world, you should have to put everything out no matter what. That's just my...
I think if it was already lost too, but because there was still the chance to tie for the cup, like, yes, the U.S. wouldn't have retained it, but I think if it was lost, you know what I mean? If the other guys they were down that extra half point, like if Europe was already at 15, then it's, you know, it's like, hey, let's go play 18, pick it up, you know. But when there was still that chance to get to the tie, which again, with having that half point on the board already from the Hovland situation, you know what I mean? Like that changed things because that last match was not supposed to be the anchor match. You know what I mean? Like it kind of put that other twist into things. But certainly a Sunday for the ages. And then so the top European scorer was Fleetwood. He had 4, and then Rory and Hatton both had 3.5.
Damn.
Which was insane. I mean, Hatton and Rahm were not losing. Rahm was there in 4th with 3 points.
But
I didn't realize that Hatton did.
What'd you say?
How many did Justin Rose have? You know?
Justin Rose, he actually only had 2. I mean, he lost on Sunday, and then I think there was another. Yeah, I know. It did feel like more, but I just... Well,
I feel like he's the one I saw the most just fucking up Team USA.
Did he only play in 3 sessions, maybe?
I think so. Yeah, so the Friday 4-ball, him and Fleetwood beat Griffin and DeChambeau, and then they played Scotty and Bryson on Saturday. So he only did play 3. So he won both, and then he lost the singles, which Cam Young battled back. You know, well, I guess he didn't really battle back, but that was just...
This is probably Rose's last Ryder Cup, I would assume, right?
I don't know. I think he's 47. I mean, he's still been in contention in these majors. You know what I mean? He just won.
He just won in New Orleans ago.
Yeah. Like, he's still in the mix. But everyone ended up scoring a point except for Rasmus Højgaard, which obviously he only played Sunday, and then I think one other... Did he play Sunday a different day?
Friday 4-ball.
Yeah, that was it. So only having the 2 shots. And that was the 4-ball they lost to. It was him and Oberg, and they lost to Young and JT 6 and 5, which is Cam Young is just dialed.
Yeah, good for him.
They showed an interesting thing on Golf Channel. It was on the Saturday night, live from the Ryder Cup. They had a thing that said fewest points earned by world number 1. And they went down the list was Ian Woosnam at Kiawah Island, 1991. He only had 1 point. Dustin Johnson in 2018 in France only had 1 point. Scotty Scheffler in Rome only had 1 point. And then Scotty Scheffler and Beth Page only had 1 point.
I mean, Scotty's just not a good foursomes player. 4-ball is fine, but... And I don't know if you saw Dan Rappaport put a thing out, like his preview episode was like, if Scotty goes 0 for 5, he was like, Dan Rapp was like, I'm done. I'm going to retire. Like, we're done with the show. And then he kept posting as the week went on, like, boys, I don't know. This is, I might not have a living after this. But he battled it out with beating Rory there on Sunday.
Yeah. There was, who was it? Shane Lowry made the putt to retain the cup. I remember thinking on 18 when on 18 Russell Henley was up, and Russell Henley's never really been in as high of a pressure situation. I'd say maybe Shane Lowry hasn't either, but Shane Lowry's won the Irish Open in 2009 as an amateur, obviously in Ireland. I think it was 2016, and where is it? Sorry, it's 20. I can't remember what year it was, but he had a 4-stroke lead going into the Sunday of the U.S. Open, and he ended up losing by 2 strokes. And then 2019, he had the Open in Portrush, when I hadn't been in Ireland for 50-something years. Like Shane had been in those situations before, so if you take that small moment of like those two going against, and Shane hit it right down the fairway, and then I think Russell hit it.
Henley was in the left bunker.
Yeah.
Which he played a really good shot in. It was just, Lowry was inside of him, and he showed him the read a little bit.
Exactly.
Henley didn't have a bad putt there, but
I think Henley.
And I remember, I think they were talking. So it was, he had a very similar putt to Cam Young, and whoever was on the broadcast was like, Cam Young and his caddy can relay that message to Keegan, and Keegan can relay that to Henley if they want to. Not that it necessarily helps, because, they have their own approach to putting. But, maybe that makes a difference if you're a little bit more, helpful, but then you don't want to tell these guys what to do. He's what is he, like the third best American golfer? Henley is, like, he's just solid. He doesn't, he doesn't miss. So,
I think,
but he didn't hit a bad putt, and go ahead.
I think Cam Young said he blacked out too. Like, he didn't even remember how it broke.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But yeah, Russell Henley hit his putt on 17 and his putt on 18. Both of them were short, so he didn't quite give it a chance to go in the hole. Obviously, didn't give it enough. So you wonder if maybe not having been in as high pressure situations, that had a factor at all.
Yeah. I mean, that, and like you said earlier too, they had a lot of rookies, and not that the rookies played poorly. I think like JJ and Griffin played okay. Obviously Cam Young stood out, but who was the other? Was Henley the other one? No, Henley's played in one before, right?
Was it Harris English?
Or has he just played in President's Cup? I don't know.
Good question.
Harris English has kind of been up in the rankings a bit too. It's got to be one of those guys, because Morikawa's played in them before, and everyone else obviously has been up there. But yeah, like JJ had 2 points. Ben Griffin only had 1, but I think Ben Griffin he got grouped with Bryson on one of those days. And
he only played in 2 sessions.
On day 1. Yeah.
It was just tough, you know what I mean, to put him there. Yeah, but that's when they lost to Rose and Fleetwood. I think they just made a lot of birdies.
Yeah. Going back to the putt that Gary was talking about, that Ben Griffin nailed it, and then what can he do when Justin Rose steps up?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because if this would have been a President's Cup year, I don't know if the U.S. would have beat them, because they were kind of struggling. They pulled it together on Sunday, but, man, if they were struggling that much, can you imagine them trailing like that to the international team? It would have been, because, again, Europe's solid. They got a lot of great golfers right now. A lot of them are really hot, and having those 11 returning players was a huge advantage. And Luke Donald, too. He's had great matchups every single time. Just knew what he was doing.
Yeah, the experience and the captaincy, obviously that just one Luke Donald captain last time around. Keegan, this is his first time he got thrown in it, but I wrote down Keegan only has ever played in 2 Ryder Cups. He played in 2 President's Cups versus Luke Donald's played in 4. Obviously, this is his second captaincy. And then, if you want, I can go down in all the vice presidents' captaincies as well. Outside of maybe Jim Furyk, all the Europeans have, if not equal, way more experience than the likes of Brandt Snedeker, Gary Woodland, and Kevin Kisner. Kevin Kisner's never played in the Ryder Cup. Gary Woodland neither. Which is just that's not the determining factor by any means, but it maybe just gives a slight edge.
Kiz is always solid when it comes to match play, but he's more. I don't know, I'm a big Kisner guy. He's a big vibes guy there too. Yeah. It was weird seeing, because his longtime caddy Dewey was who's he caddy for now? Substraka. So seeing Dewey, Dewey, right? He's that big guy, and he's got the massive fucking calves.
Yeah.
It was just weird seeing him. He's a Southern guy, great dude, and he's on the back for Europe guy. That was just tough. That had been hard for him to celebrate, but I'm sure he was fucking partying with him hard.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching today's episode.
To see more of our content, be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube. We can be found at Basic Bogeys on all platforms.
Thanks. We hope to see you on the next one.